And we are live once again. I am Adam. This is Highly Articulated. I feel like there's been a lot of news today that's like relevant to stuff that I like and that I talk about, which is kind of funny because sometimes it's like what happened and I kind of don't care. This week I feel like there was a bunch of things that I really care about, which makes it a lot easier to do a video. But joining me today. He's been on before. He is a regular contributor, regular co-host, regular guest host, a good friend, regardless of what title he is, sort of in this realm. Auston, what's going on, my friend?
Yo, I just got back from Victoria.
Too bad.
Yeah.
I just realized I turned my lights on.
Needed a whole bunch of paint, and I was like, I got time. Let's do a trip.
Yeah, why not? You're how long of a drive is it? How far is it?
Depending on traffic, 45 minutes, maybe an hour.
That's nothing, man. That's nothing.
No, I was about to say, compared to where you live, I'm sure that's nothing.
Well, that's what I was about to say. Like when I compare, travel times to anywhere that's not literally the city that I live in, people are like, "Wait, but what's in between?" I'm like, "Nothing.
Nothing. Trees, maybe."
So from me to Vancouver, right? 4 hours. What's in between? Hope and Merritt, and they're like, it's like a gas station and a couple restaurants.
I was about to say,
no offense to anybody. No offense to anybody in Hope and Merritt. They're bigger than that, and they're nicer than that. I'm just being facetious. But for all intents and purposes, there's nothing between here and Vancouver. And then going the other direction from here to Calgary, I think it's like 6.5 hours. And it's there's nothing. There's Rocky Mountains. There's dangerous highway driving. So if you're into those things, it's the best. But yeah, and I mean, even if it was an hour to Victoria, you're still that doesn't compute to me. That's like, oh, okay, so it's nearby. Don't even get me started on people that live, in like on the East Coast, right? Where it's like, I never see this person. I'm like, well, how far away do they live? And they're like, like 40 minutes. Why don't you see them? That's not, I don't understand what you just told me in relation to why don't you see them. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. The distance between where we live and where our friends live is not relevant to the conversation or to anything that we're talking about. But today we're gonna get into some Four Horsemen news. There's been a few things going on there. We're gonna get into some Animal Warriors of the Kingdom news / bragging. And we are going to, I think, briefly discuss Falcon's derpy head sculpt.
Fun fact: I haven't seen it yet. I haven't looked.
I and here's the other thing. I'm only gonna bring up the like Hasbro pictures because I think some of the in-hand pictures. I wonder if it's just terrible lighting. I think the head sculpt is pretty derpy to begin with, and I was kind of hoping and like optimistic that like maybe they'd photographed it bad, or maybe they could kind of make it look better. Um, and I'm still happy to get the figure, but it, I mean, as as somebody that's not a huge fan of Team America World Police, I don't. It doesn't. Anyway, we'll get there when we get there. That's my sort of like sad news of the week or so. like, but like I said, it's kind of insignificant. I'm still gonna buy it, and I'll sort of explain myself, a little bit later. But Austin, I know that you're excited for pickups today. You didn't want to tell me what you had. How many pickups have you got? I've really only got a couple things.
I got if I can count, 5. I got 5.
Holy. Okay, you go first, and we'll alternate. And then when I'm done my 2, you can just take it
Sure.
away.
Okay. So first off, I got a few of these, but I'm only going to show off one. But I got some Transformer model kits.
Wait, what? What do you
Tra-
mean? What do you
like
mean
like
model kit?
yeah, like Gundam model kits, but they're Transformers. They can't transform, but the characters are Transformers.
I don't know how I feel about that.
But
Transformers that can't transform are just robots.
which is fine by me. But they're really cool. I got a few. I built
That looks
Asset
really good,
Storm.
though. Yeah.
Yeah, like they're really cool. Um, I goofed. I forgot when I was in Victoria to grab a Gundam marker. So, oh well, next time. But otherwise, really fun. I haven't built a model like a model kit like this in a long time. I forgot how long it took. It took me like an hour and a half.
That's quick too. That's
Yeah.
snap build because you're just cutting it out, snapping it
Yep.
together. Now when you for anybody that's not into Gundam model building, this part is really going to get nerdy and boring. Do you sand? Do you like fix them up, or do you just snip them and like snip and snap?
Now with all my Warhammer stuff, I got like files and all that, so
Yeah.
I go that little bit extra mile. And if it's really bad, I got my knife and my mold line remover to really just try to
Yeah.
smooth it out. But generally speaking, they tend to snap really well, where like it's
Okay.
usually quite clean. But if I notice where it's not clean, I clean it up.
Yeah. I got the gun primer stuff. So I think it's a Korean brand that has what looks like a foam kind of nail file
Oh, okay.
thing, and there's like a hard piece. I'll send you pictures of them. Gun primer, look it up. It's but they also have this file that looks like super nondescript. It's like this chunk of plastic, and it has it's sort of a file on the other side, but it's the model kit files, the way that they do them, you can kind of score the plastic if you don't do it well, but this one is designed in such a way that like it requires virtually zero skill whatsoever to like
Oh,
make
neat.
perfect pieces. It takes time, and it takes a day or like one kit to kind of get used to using it, but it's game changing, and
I'll have to look
it
into that.
seems overpriced until you get it and use it, and then
Yeah.
you go, oh man, did this make my life easier. um but yeah, as far as like, yeah, model kits, man, like that's, you mentioned like you forgot how long it takes. It's funny that like you can snap build a kit super quick and leave nub marks and whatever, not really care about it, and they still look pretty good.
Yeah.
But the more time you put into them, the better they look, right? Like, and even
100%.
like a little bit of panel lining, a little bit of painting here and there, a top coat, on a Gundam, like on a Bandai Gundam model kit, absolutely changes the look of the kit.
When you say top coat, you mean like a matte varnish?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. because it can change a really plasticky looking model
Yeah.
to like a tiny looking robot.
Yeah. For a lot of people, if I don't know, that works great for like Hasbro's photoreal faces, where they're a little glossy, just a little bit of matte varnish. Awesome.
Yep, absolutely. That's it's all these funny little tricks that like once you get deep enough down the rabbit hole, I think people just kind of pick this stuff up, you know.
Oh yeah.
Um, okay. Why don't you do one more pickup and then I'll do.
Sure. I'm excited about this one. I got this one a couple weeks ago, but I was sick, so I couldn't show it off. But I'm going to show it off now.
Such a good figure.
Arethyr. Got
Mhm.
Arethyr through a trade of a buddy. I got him on another thing that I'll be showing in a bit here. But bit of a shelf space killer, so I got to do some
Yeah.
rearranging. But oh, it's really cool. Problem is, I want the horse now.
Well, yeah, and that's I mean I've said it before, but it sort of bears repeating that like I got Arethyr and Aethon. That was sort of that was in my first shipment of Mythic Legions. And and then like Alithia and Phobos sort of came up almost right around the same time. And and I still hadn't clued in that there were four horsemen. I was like I was like, but I'm not into skeletons. And Mike from eCollectibles was like, well, if you're getting two of the four, you may as well get all four of them. And I was like, all four of who? Like, I wasn't like steeped in the lore. I hadn't kind of like figured it out yet. That like, oh, okay, yeah, right, okay, makes sense. The four horsemen, so they all have the faction leader plus the horse,
Yeah.
and it wasn't. I mean, it wasn't guaranteed at that point that we were gonna get rider and mount for each of those, but it was like it was almost a lock because they'd done two, and
Yeah.
then at that time there was still like two more waves to be sort of released and or revealed and then released. But then I was like, well, yeah, I guess that makes sense. I've got like this shelf right behind me here.
Oh, there he
Currently
is.
has a troll on it, but that troll will migrate once I finish my dio. That's going to be over there, which I'm taking forever to paint and get together. But that's going to be my Four Horsemen shelf for just the Four Horsemen because it takes
Nice.
up, like you said, it's a shelf killer. Like
Yeah.
it's a committed amount of real estate to get the Four Horsemen and the mounts. The mounts too, because they're tall
Yeah.
and long, but they're not like if you're doing face on for most figures, like everything here is like face on, right?
Yeah.
Um, Once you get like Arethyr with his wings that go this way on a horse that goes this way and this way, like the three-dimensional space that is required for some of these things is quite significant unless you want an absolutely cluttered, packed shelf, which most of mine are, but my Four Horsemen shelf won't be. They're going to get their own, like I said, dedicated shelf. So, but that's an absolutely stunning figure, and
Oh, it's incredible.
like the detail, like the pauldrons with the horns, the fact that his little mask comes off, and he's
Even
got
just
his
like
little
this little piece,
the flame, yeah,
I
the
thought that was
sword
so
flame.
cool.
So many details, and that was like I said, that was in my first shipment of Mythic Legion stuff, and that figure was the figure where I went, okay, so the detail that you don't see in the photos is what really sets this line apart, and
Yeah.
it was like, for anybody, this comes up all the time. Anybody that sort of says like, well, they're pretty expensive, you go, on paper they seem that way. In hand, I've never once gotten one in hand and been like, I don't think this was worth it. Like, this one doesn't live up to the price tag. But that's my opinion. Everybody's different. Your
Fair
mileage may
enough.
vary. Anyway, my first pickup, not really a pickup of this week. It's a previous pickup, but I mentioned these, and I mentioned that these would be making an appearance in the video. This is one of my Target graphic tee pickups. This was chosen by my daughters, who are 7 and 3 years old. This is my Care Bears Careful, I'm Grumpy t-shirt. It may not seem it, when I do these videos, but my general nature, my general predisposition is towards grumpiness. So it was appropriate. So I bought it. Whenever they ask for anything, the answer is no. And the reason for that is I can always change my mind. But if I say yes, they will not let me live it down. So, what do you got next, Austin?
All right, next, since I was just talking legions, and we're definitely going to be diving into this more.
Yeah.
But got the Headless Horseman, also got it through a trade. Same guy that I traded with Erethyr. He had a couple mythic legions, and he likes them a lot, but that was actually his fear because he didn't want to go get another line. And he's like, "I'll trade these to you." So we worked out a trade, and
Get them away from me.
Yeah, brand new inbox, still sealed. So thinking I might open it up on here, take a look at it since we're going to be on that topic. So very, very excited for that one.
It's a great figure. The Headless Horseman in general wasn't really a figure that I needed. I mean, because it's figure obscura, you know, it's not a Mythic Legions character. It doesn't fit in the lore. So, and then the black and red deco, I was like, you know, black and red decos, you know, if you've ever tuned in, you know that black and red decos just don't land for me. And I'm happy to say that I'm happy that I passed on that one because the new deco, and we'll get into it later. The new deco to me is far more appealing. But anyway, we'll leave it at that. I will do my second. It's not so much a pickup as it was a gift that was sent to me by my good buddy Jeremy from Authority Figure, who's involved with Animal Warriors of the Kingdom. And I did a live unboxing of this, and like a true unboxing, because he kind of sent me a mystery box. And if you're interested in this at all, it's on the channel. You can go check it out. I will be very, very brief. But he sent me an Animal Warriors of the Kingdom sticker with Kali on there.
Cool.
He sent me, and I won't get into these. I'm just showing one. I'm just showing the one that I chose. But then he sent me a whole bunch more. He sent me a bunch of these, like,
cool,
like artist. There's a name for them, and I've already forgotten it. But he sent me. There's a dozen of these, and these are for. They're all characters and designs for stuff that is planned for the line, but not currently in the line. So they're all like, you know,
concept art, kind of.
Yeah, more or less. So basically, the way that it was explained to me is that, like, these are the designs that get sent to the 3D printers, and then the 3D printers use these as their reference points to do their 3D sculpting.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So that was like, when he said, "Hey, I'm going to send you one of these," I was like, "Man, you really don't have to," but like, I would be absolutely over the moon to get one. And he goes, "I got one other thing for you.
Cool.
An Atreyu test shot prototype. I don't know what sort of phase of development this is from. And it doesn't want to focus on it, but so that's like a one of a kind test shot type of piece.
Cool.
Man, it's so good. And I bang on about, you know, Animal Warriors of the Kingdom all the time. And I was like gushing over this when I was sort of talking about it in the video. But the amount of detail in the sculpt, like the fur on the forehead and on the cheeks, like it's second to none as far as sculpting goes. And the neck piece, which is kind of hidden, right, in the design of a figure, you're not really going to notice it. It's sculpted better than any neck piece I've ever seen. And there's fur texture on it, but the fur is like follows the lines of the sculpt and everything. Like it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And we'll get to some more Animal Warriors of the Kingdom news when we get to that point. But needless to say, I can't wait to get my figures in hand. What else did you pick up?
This one's
Comments
really
after
cool.
pickup. We'll have to go back, but
It's a little different for me because it's third party, and I usually don't get third party.
okay.
But I got that Superman last time, but now I actually I don't even know what they call it, but it's the Aton Collectibles 112 Mr. Knight.
Okay.
And I already have it open, so I got it right here.
That's like the full cloth goods one, right?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Like
We need to talk after. I need to know some more details.
This thing is incredible. And do I have it? Okay, good. I do have it handy. One thing I have to show off because I thought this was the coolest thing. I just got all the accessories in a bag. Oh, fun fact: I put them in museum grade bags. All my accessories.
Like the lead-free ones and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They cost a bit more, but worth it.
In the long run, yeah, I'd say absolutely.
Especially with a figure like this, where all the accessories is just pure white.
White, yeah. Yeah. Good point.
So this guy has a light up eye function, and I kind of figured you pop the head off, and it works. They give you a little magnet. You dab it over his eye.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Now it's on.
That's good. Like even in light, that looks good.
Yeah, like that's incredible. And he has this little suit. I got the hooded version. The hood's meh. I kind of wish I didn't get the hooded version, but otherwise, it's just incredible.
So you got both the Mr. Knight and the Moon Knight?
There's he didn't make a Moon Knight. The Moon Knight I have is the actual Mezco one. Also really good, by the way. But yeah, he had 4 versions of this one. So there's this one.
Okay.
So there's one without hood, one with hood, a bloody one with hood, and a bloody one without hood. But it's amazing. Like, I love Mezco, but I'd even be as bold to say that's better than most Mezco figures I've gotten.
I'm done for pickups.
You're done?
1 more, 2 more.
I got 1 more. This is the one that I didn't want to tell you about because you're going to go like this.
So for people that weren't in our conversation, which was just us, Austin's like, I got something I really want to show. I show it to, like, Austin messaged me and was like, I need to be on the show this week, and it's because I got show and tell. And I was like, all right, man, you're on, no problem. So I'm just as eager to see what you've got as everybody else is. Probably.
I'll say it's a shame AI isn't here.
Is that a Hot Toys?
Yeah, it is.
Is that your first Hot Toys?
Yeah. I've had Sideshow Collectibles in the past, but I've never owned Hot Toys.
Mm-hmm.
And I set up a trade with the toy store in Victoria.
Cherry Bomb?
Yep.
Yeah.
So I set up a trade with Cherry Bomb. I've been trading some Mezco figures.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is one of the figures I've gotten so far.
Okay. Far?
Well, I'm working. I got some. Mezco recently had their Necroverse Atticus and their Death Adder. I bought 2 of each, and I just what am I going to do with these extras? So I traded those and something else for Bo-Katan, and hopefully in the coming weeks, whenever they decide to ship those figures, I'll be getting Boba Fett.
Okay. Which version?
Book of Boba Fett. So the repainted modern armor.
Now the big question, that's your first Hot Toys.
Yeah. The plan is Mandalorian / Book of Boba Fett stuff only.
Uh-huh.
And because for starters, I had to rearrange my entire glass cabinet, my IKEA D12. I had to rearrange the whole thing, really cram in the Mezco to make one shelf available for some Hot Toys. Because I can't keep this out in the open. There's no way. It's in the glass cabinet. And so plenty of room for her. There'll be plenty of room for Boba Fett. And I'm probably going to get Mandalorian himself. Beyond that, staying away from Marvel, staying away from DC. As much as I want that Keaton Batman, gotta stay away.
It's a good looking piece. And and then you can get the Batmobile if you have like a spare garage.
Yeah, no kidding.
And you could get Now you're going down the Mando path, so you could get that Naboo starfighter that they've said that they're going to do, right? a 1/6 scale Naboo starfighter.
Yeah, no thanks. I already got a HasLab Razor Crest taking a whole shelf. I don't need more vehicles doing that.
That's the thing, man. Like some of these, like, man, if you've got the room to collect, the sail barge, the Razor Crest, the Naboo starfighter from Hot Toys. There's probably other ones that I'm thinking of that I'm not thinking of, right? Like there's just so much of this gigantic stuff. And here I am in my office, which is like an 8x10 office. Like it probably looks bigger because the shelf behind me is so full that it makes it look like there's a lot of stuff, but there's not a lot. There's windows on one side, so it's not like I've got just regular ceilings and stuff. But anyway, great pickups, man. That's good stuff. The Hot Toy stuff, I just can't because not only sort of size wise, but price wise, like it doesn't work for me. Like I just can't. Those are collectibles, right? And as I've said,
100%.
I'm a guy that buys a lot of toys. I'm not a collector. I just love toys and buy a lot of toys.
One thing I'll say.
Toy.
At the very least with Hot Toys is like, once I get those 3 or more down the line, if I ever change my mind, they're usually pretty easy to sell.
Yeah. All right, so that's it for pickups. We're good. We're good. We've sort of, we've been able to share with people, and that sort of makes us feel less guilty. Brick says, "What's up, Adam and Austin? Tell me why I shouldn't buy a third Father Christmas." Well, I don't think I'm going to tell you that. I think I'm probably going to tell you why you should. But we'll get there in a minute. Tyler says, "Hello." And then he also said, "I think Falcon will look good after a repaint by Uncle Sam 1989. I think, whether you do a head swap, whether you do a slight repaint, whatever, we'll get deeper into that sort of when we get there. I think there's going to be sort of opportunity for improvement there. I mean, you can only improve it. You can't make it worse." Brick said, your reaction to the idea of non-transforming Transformers, classic. I mean, look, let's be honest. Most of us that own a single Transformer are going to leave it in the robot mode forever. Like, I bought a bunch of the Earthrise ones, and then some of the Beast Wars stuff, like the because that was stuff that was relevant to my childhood. And I bought with Earthrise, it was like G1 inspired designs that were just way better than the G1 versions. That's all I got. And they were on a shelf for a very, very long time, and they're now all in a bin because Transformers just isn't my thing. And my kid always wants to transform them with me, and I'm like, these ones are not for a 7-year-old to transform. No. They're just too hard. Like my G1 Optimus Prime, no problem. You can transform that. It's like 7 moves to transform it.
I got 2 movie leader class figures right where my finger's pointing. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say I haven't tried. I did like the first 2 steps. I'm like, nope, I'm not doing this. This is a project.
Yeah. I did. Like, the weird thing is, if you're a Transformers person, like if you're a collector of Transformers, you don't even pull the instructions out of the package. You're just like, well, this is how these work. And like, if you get enough of them, you kind of understand the engineering. And I've seen people do it, and they do it. And I'm like, none of that made sense to me. But when I sort of unbox like a Gundam model, I look at the runners and I'm like, okay, I'll need these, and I'll need these, and I'll need these. And I could probably do it without the instructions for 90% of the build. Unless it's like a real grade or one of these sort of more elaborate ones that has like an internal skeleton or whatever. But even then, it makes sense if you've done enough of them. So I can understand how that works. But for me, I'm like, 27 steps, but wouldn't this just fold in here and then like when I do it, I'm like, that's really, really clever. Like the engineering with Transformers now compared to when I was a kid is like, doesn't even compare. but it's way over my head. It's
Yeah, too
way
much
over,
for me.
and things have to like click and like like, and there's things where it's like, no, you do it like 80% of the way, and then you kind of do the other axis, of the shift, and then the other 20, like there's nuance to how you have to sort of fold some of the pieces around, and it's lost on me. Like it just doesn't make sense. Brick says, every time I look at my Aether figure, I hear chug chug of power chords. Yeah, he is. I mean, I I mean, I don't. He's remarkable. He is, and the weird thing is, he seems dated now. Like now that
He does.
in a weird way, but I still look at him and I go, there's enough original stuff going on here with the pauldrons, with sort of the head sculpt, with the translucent flaming hair, the mask that's removable, like some of the details still there. It's still a really great figure. But compared to what the Four Horsemen have done in the last couple waves, yeah, it's kind of night and day almost. Like in the last 2 years, really, they've just changed everything up. Just it's on another level.
Yeah.
Master Versal's here. He says a little late, but here. Well, we're only getting to your comment now, so you've probably made a ton more. Payne's toy samples. I will be getting that pumpkin-headed green masterpiece, and I bought the 3 reissues from yesterday. Not sure how many I'll get, but looking forward to my new toys. And yeah, we're gonna get there. They look fantastic. Tyler laughed at, I think, my shirt when I was explaining the shirt, because it came up. I meant to click on it, but it was just. Facebook user says, great figgy. I think he was talking about one of your reveals there. Scott Baker says, afternoon all. Facebook user says, I can't believe it, but I'm down for day 1 pre-order of the Headless Horseman redeco. Yep, and that's it. I mean, it's weird, but I kind of feel that way too. Tyler's got a little lion head there, absolutely. Payne's toy sample says artist proof. Yeah, the art for the art. Brick thankfully was paying attention when Jeremy, when I was doing the opening, told me what they were called. So they're called turnarounds. So they're character model sheets. They're basically like the test shot version of the figure design. So they use that as the sort of blueprint for the figure design. Now, if they use that as the blueprint for the figure design, and those designs are in existence, just saying, elephants, hippos, rhinos, the crow, like there's some cool stuff in there. Scott says probably gonna have to catch up later. A little loud at the skating round. Scott, he's probably there with his family. They're probably like, "Hey, could you come and engage? We're just trying to like have some family time." Scott actually picked up. Scott has a bunch of Animal Warriors of the Kingdom figures on order. He was at a toy show the other day and he picked one up just as an extra because he didn't want to wait. He couldn't wait. I said to him, like, if I was there, I would have bought one too. And he said, I could buy one and send it to you. I said, it probably wouldn't get here fast enough. It wouldn't. Mine are coming. I'm not worried, but appreciate that, Scott. Facebook user says, paint it. I would never. Oz says, maybe late, but I have arrived. And again, we're just getting to your comments, so you're not late if we haven't acknowledged, I guess, right? Is that how that works? Oz says, I recognize all these legends. Yeah, there's a lot of people hanging out today. That's good, man. Let's see. There's so many comments. I'm not gonna be able to catch up. I'm trying to scroll through as many as I can to sort of get what else? Brick said you need a blurg. That would be great. I'm shocked we haven't seen like a Black Series blurg or Vintage Series blurg, or like, it seems like a really easy one to do, right? To just get out there in the market. They did one with the Mission Fleet. They did like, which is that weird kind of 3-inch scale
Yeah.
cartoonish like kid line, which I think is criminally underrated because
Well,
there's so much cool stuff in that line.
Cherry Bomb had the Hot Toys one with Mando on it, and I
Mm-hmm.
was at first I was humoring it, like rather than getting Bo-Katan and Boba Fett, like maybe I can trade all my figures just for that. But then it turned into that won't even fit in the glass cabinet, so
Mm-hmm.
literally nowhere for that one to go.
Mm-hmm. Facebook user said Star Wars is still the shit. I agree, man. They,
Mhm.
there's misses here and there, and not everything is for everybody. Not everybody that saw A New Hope in theaters in 1977 is gonna love, Galaxy of Heroes or something like that. You know what I mean? Like the Star Wars is a brand, is an IP that sort of transcends ages and genders and races and all that stuff. So when people complain about like, oh, this whatever, the mods in Book of Boba Fett, like, oh, these don't land for me, I was like, it kind of makes sense and I kind of know what they're going for. I didn't love them, but you got to take it at face value and not look. The Star Wars holiday special exists, right? Like that, let's use that as the low benchmark, and and not use Andor as the benchmark. Let's not use Empire Strikes Back as the low benchmark, right? Not everything can be that good. Return of the Jedi is better, but what I'm saying is they can't all be Return of the Jedi. When we were talking about space danger, Oz mentioned the Thunder Tank. Yeah, the Super 7 Thunder Tank, which people are getting in hand, is a beast of a thing. And it's kind of low and slim, right? So that's the other thing is like, I backed the his tank, which is a nice, dimensionally balanced. Like it's tall and a little bit long, but it's not super wide, so it'll still fit on a relatively normal shelf. Whereas that Thunder Tank is really, really, it has a really big footprint. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, like one nice thing about my Razor Crest, it has that big stand where you can have it flying. So actually, I got stuff underneath it,
Yes. Yep.
so that's really helpful. So like it's still a shelf killer, but I can at least fit other things on there. But I look at
Mm-hmm.
that Thunder Tank and just go, nope, can't do
It's a
that.
ground vehicle too, so you can't prop it up. Like you can't
Yeah,
like when you have like a fly, something that flies, you can at least elevate it, like you said, like the Sky Striker, right? You
yeah,
can angle that and sort of put figures or whatever underneath it, and it still looks good. The Thunder Tank is just like it's this big, and it just goes on your shelf, or it
yeah.
go or it's your new coffee table or whatever. Um, Billionaire says Falcon will look better with some painted on facial hair. I think that's the thing, right? Like, like I said, we'll get to it when we get to it. But like, I'm not as bothered by it as a lot of people are. I think Paint's Toy Sample says core class might be a good idea for young ones. I look at the core class all the time. I just wish they were scaled better. I can't buy an Optimus Prime in core class
Yeah, it's just
because he's this big, and then you buy a Bumblebee and he's this big. That drives me a little bit crazy. Now I know that scale is an issue with Transformers until you get into like Masterpiece series and stuff like that. But at least on my toy shelf, Optimus Prime from Earthrise is significantly bigger than Bumblebee from Earthrise. So it's okay. It works in my head. In their vehicle modes, the scale is all funky, but Facebook user, I haven't been able to transform any since the 1980s. Tyler says, I was laughing at your Care Bear shirt. Yes, yes. Kelly says, hey, boys, just saying hi at work and trying not to get caught. Well, hopefully work isn't too boring. Facebook user, what do you guys think of the new Belphegor type figure from Mythic Legion's exclusive? I hadn't even thought to think or to talk about that one, but I definitely will when we get there. What No, I won't talk about it now. So, Impossible Pie says, "Love the Razor Crest.
It's my pride and joy.
It's beautiful, and if I could have possibly justified 3 3/4 inch scaled figures to go with it, I might have. It wasn't 8x10. This is my space. It's too big. The Thunder Tank is a piece of furniture, like a foot. That's a good shout. You could get an ottoman. You could turn it into an ottoman or something like that. Footrest that you could sit. But then you're gonna end up putting your dirty feet on it, and you're yeah. I don't know. Impossible Pie says, "Are you guys getting the Headless Horseman? I procrastinated on the first one and missed out. Now I'm thinking of getting it, even though it's $20 more." Jay, we'll get back to that Impossible Pie. I will definitely bring that back up because we'll get into the topic after.
Yeah, we're gonna segue right into that.
Jay, who is always quick with the great comments, says, "I love they blew it up." Now, if I'm not mistaken, they blew it up like 2 days after funding ended for the right? Like, I think funding ended on like Monday night, and on Wednesday night's episode, it blew up. And a lot of people were not just a little bit upset.
Always laugh at that. I'm like, it doesn't really matter. Like, to me, it doesn't. It's so cool.
The Death Star blew up twice. People still want Death Star playsets.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, it's whatever.
Anyway, wait! I have another pickup. I forgot this because I couldn't show it. It's sort of a pickup. It's sort of it's not in keeping with the theme of the show, but that's okay. My father-in-law picked this up, but we live in the same house as them, and I've spent a good deal of time with Coco.
Oh my goodness! Oh.
Look at that smile. Does the smile come through on? Like, she looks up, and you're just like, all right. She was whining because she was by herself, and that's me just sitting in our mudroom with that, and she fell asleep in my lap. So
I love Coco. Oh.
I'm sold on this dog, and I said, let's not get another dog, but I got overruled. He said, I spot. It was the best. I was sitting in there with the puppy when I took that photo, and he brought some like dog food. Like we got it yesterday. Like this is very recent. And I'm sitting there. He's like, you don't have to sit there. He's like, he had the food. He's like, don't worry, I'll get the food and I'll feed her and I'll clean up after her. And I was like, you don't have to justify this to me. Like, you're a grown man. This is your house. It was the same arguments that like kids make when they're like, I want to get a dog and I'll take care of it. I promise to take care of it. Oz says, "Oh, puppy, yeah, it's adorable. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna pretend that it's not adorable." Jay says, "How many points of articulation?" I don't know.
A lot.
I never took a biology class in my life because I hate memorization. It's a lot. It's probably more than Hot Toys. Let's see. All right, let's just get into the Four Horsemen stuff. So the Four Horsemen they've got a sale on right now, currently, for the what is it, the Legion's Con exclusive. So the 2 different figures with sort of pack outs to make them 4 different figures, as well as the unknown one. Now, did you get these as in the Legion Con exclusive, or did you pick them up this time around?
I didn't get. So I have the Legion Con exclusive 2-pack, just 1 2-pack though. I got that from Sheng when he did the post on Knights of the North and hooked people up. So I got it for con price plus shipping, which is awesome.
Right. Yeah.
Wasn't too worried about the unknown one. It looks great, but it is quickly gone to the point where I just have too many characters with wings, and they just
Yeah.
take up too much room.
Yeah. The wings are what kills it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm looking at them, and I almost bought them yesterday. I was really tempted, and but shipping minimum for one of each was $40 American, and like, okay, that's not horrible. It's not great, but then it's just the constant stress of the brokerage and duty, because duty would happen no matter what. Brokerage just kind of the one that's kind of up in the air.
Yeah.
And I just kind of went, you know what? I don't need all four of the Furious Four. Like, I got two of them, and I don't even have them in their correct or their advertised layout. I have, like, I don't even think the cat is actually like an actual character, but I still have one as the cat because that's my favorite look.
Yeah.
So I kind of went, I don't need all four. Don't need the unknown one. Plus, I spent too much money on Warhammer recently, so just whatever.
Well, if you are in Canada, and I know you are, Austin, Mike at eCollectibles secured a bunch of them. And I did the math, and I was chatting with him, and he was like, how many should I get? Like, should I even get them? Like, is this something that people appreciate me doing? And I was like, you should absolutely get them, because I think a lot of Canadians don't get them because of the things that you talked about, the shipping and the fees, and FedEx hitting you with an invoice 3 weeks after they've delivered the thing, saying like, hey, by the way, you owe us another $85. So when you look at Four Horsemen direct, right? If I order, one of the standard figures, $37 plus shipping, it's 65 US dollars, which works out to 88 Canadian dollars. And that's assuming I don't get hit with any hidden fees. Mike's doing them for $80. If I was to order the unknown one and get it shipped, it's $73, which works out to 99 Canadian. Mike's doing it for $95.
Wow.
Now, if you're buying a whole bunch of them, it may work out because the shipping might be a little bit lower, but then I think the fees kind of catch up to you. So, like, I don't really know, and I don't want to necessarily speak to that, but just for the numbers game, if you were to get one of each of the three, plus shipping, at least to me, it's 160 US, which is 215 Canadian.
And for those who haven't ordered from Four Horsemen before, I'll put in perspective. I did in stock sale. They were doing those weekly once upon a time, and I got two figures, one for me, one for my brother. Shipping was whatever, but we got hit with a $100 fee between duty and brokerage. $100 for two figures.
So that's the thing. That's I think the part that people kind of, and I'm not telling people where to buy their stuff. You should buy it from eCollectibles, but I'm not telling you where to buy it. You do what you want. But like you said, and you said 100, I said 85. Let's even say $80, right? You add $40 to the price of a figure, and then see whether it's worth it to order it direct. Now, if you're in the US, you're not going to have some of the issues that we have. The shipping is cheaper. It's not free. It's still, they're still charging actual shipping, but you're not going to get the brokerage. You're not going to get the duty. You're not going to get on and on and on. You're not going to get hit with that weird processing fee that FedEx charges. And I talked to FedEx recently because I had an issue with Father Christmas, because they called and they said, hey, this is on its way. I said, send me the paperwork. I want to self-clear the package, meaning I want to pay the customs and duty brokerage myself. They never sent the paperwork. The figure showed up. The invoice came while I was on holidays. I came back, had an invoice and a collections notice, called them, and I was like, what gives? And they said, FedEx ground, you can't clear yourself. So, but I successfully argued my way out of paying it.
That's good. I had to do that at UPS once. So.
Regardless, it's I mean, what you think you're going to pay is very rarely what you end up paying, which is just kind of the crummy thing about Canada. Well, there's other things. I mean, it's pretty great. Free healthcare is pretty great. But anyway, the school system is great. I've talked about that as well. Our literacy rates are very high. Anyway, that's we're not here to talk about that. I think if you're getting a few of these figures, getting them through Mike is definitely the way to go if you're in Canada.
I just shot
Or
Mike a text.
or
I hate myself.
or if you can't afford them today, you might be able to pick them up from Mike, in a week or something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe you're waiting on a paycheck, maybe it's just not, maybe at a car payment, maybe at whatever, I don't know. It just gives people another opportunity, and I think the prices are very fair. I've even spoken to some Americans that said, like, if you're kind of close enough, shipping, because his shipping is, I think it's only like $15, flat rate.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's still worth it with the exchange rate being as terrible as it is for us.
And I've paid more for just regular Legions from Big Bad Toy Store. Like
Yeah,
before Mike was around, that was my go-to, Big Bad Toy Store. You
yeah.
buy, and sometimes it'd be one figure, get it shipped for whatever
50
price it was.
plus shipping,
Yeah,
$10. So it's $60 US. And then you might get hit with the duty and stuff like that. And
yeah.
$60 US, if people don't know, is like $127 Canadian. Like the exchange rate right now is out of control too. So
I have a little thing on my computer on the bottom right. It tells me like the like price of oil's gone up, and every day Canadian dollar down, 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 down.
every day,
Oh,
every day, it sucks, man. It sucks. But the other, okay, so that's sort of their sort of in stock thing. But then they go and hit us with, oh, and by the way, if you haven't spent all your money just yet, okay, we'll look at comments and we'll sort of get back. eCollectibles says free shipping over 125. Yeah, so if you're in Canada, and that's the thing. So the Trolls are coming in, All Stars 5 is coming in. If you have those orders already in, message Mike. Just say, hey, can you just add one of these to my order? You're not going to pay shipping on it.
yeah,
So
and
that's
yeah, and
like
Mike
$80
has
for one of those figures is what you're going to pay.
and he has a kind of a pile of loot system where it's like, I think when you go to checkout, you can pick the option like wait until I have free shipping.
Yeah.
So if there's nothing else you want right now, if you get a NECA whatever in 3 weeks, boom, you got free shipping because you have something waiting.
Mm-hmm. Jay Wright said, I might grab the new Headless Horseman if I make enough tips stripping at the number 5 orange tonight.
I'll go. I'll tip.
Just the tip?
Just the tip.
Impossible Pie. Great thing about the Headless Horseman is eCollectibles is getting it. Sorry, I totally missed that comment. You probably made that comment before I had that. Bonus for Canadian buyers. Absolutely. Oh, no. Sorry, I'm thinking about the in-stock stuff, but you're absolutely right. And again, echoing like for Canadian buyers. So let's get into that. Let's get into the retailer appreciation wave. I think people have buried the lead on this a little bit because people are talking about the Headless Horseman came out yesterday. They revealed that. The Father Christmas redeco was revealed today.
Yep.
But they said yesterday the Headless Horseman will be part of a retailer appreciation wave. I mean, how many figures are we getting?
So what I'm wondering too, because obviously, like they can't unless they did like another recolor of Krampus. There's no other Figura Obscura figures to include, so it makes me think they're going to release a Valentine's one, maybe something new, or even
that would be. I hadn't even thought of a new figure.
Yeah, I think that would be easy too.
Yeah, but, well, you're absolutely right because like 2 figures to me is not a wave.
No, not at all.
Oh, we're doing retailer versions of the Figura Obscuras. I think was something we assumed we would get. I thought we would get them later. I didn't think it was going to be March 1st, right? Like,
yeah,
I thought, the way we sort of saw it with the last ones, it felt like Red Krampus came quite a bit later.
He was later, which I kind of figured that's what they're doing with this. They're doing pre-orders now, but you won't get it until end of the year. I could be wrong. I didn't really look into it.
I think someone said at some point like Q3 for delivery, but that also means like pretty darn quick. You know what I mean? Like we're getting very close to the end of Q1.
Yeah.
I mean, Q1 ends at March, right? Like March is Q1, and then sort of April, May, June is Q2. So
theoretically, July. Theoretically,
you know what? I'm thinking delivery on this retailer appreciation wave will probably be fall in normal language. Quarter three kind of gets us into fall, and I think like Krampus was like December delivery. I think it was a little bit delayed relative to what they thought it might be. But I mean, we'll see. Tyler said, I've only gotten to Santa Claus, and it was the first time I got hit by a duty fee. It's every time. I mean, I shouldn't say that. I have heard that some people, if they've ordered one figure, have kind of gotten by. I've also heard that people that order one figure have gotten hit with all the fees.
I will never forget the Greg one. Greg and his Sir Gerard.
Yeah, Greg bought one. So Greg Shaw, who is in the he's in the Cabal. He's also in the Knights of the North Canadian group. He got a Sir Gerard in the reinforcements wave. One figure plus shipping. $37 plus the 22 shipping, I think. And then with the duties and taxes and all that kind of stuff, I think it cost him like $120 by the time it landed on his doorstep, or maybe even more, or maybe he got two. And it was like 200 because the fee, I don't know, but it's nasty. Yeah. And we're in Canada. We're right next door. We're not even like, that's not even, Europe or, if Eldor's still kicking around here, Eternia, like if you got to pay like all the way across the world, it's a totally different ballgame. Oz says, I appreciate you explaining this. I have quite a few fans in Canada, and it helps me understand exactly what you guys are going through. It's constant because it's not just Four Horsemen. It's like it's every brand, and people kind of dump on Hasbro Pulse, but I'll be honest, like what they charge me is what I pay because they do all the brokerage and stuff.
Yep.
I'm not saying they're an ethical and good company all around. I'm just saying I like to know what I'm paying up front.
Well, at Amazon Japan, I order from a lot from like my imports, and says $30 to ship, duty or additional fees, as I think they call it, would be like 2,500 yen. So like, okay, $25.
Yeah,
but at least you can make your decision then and there and go, oh, can I afford this right now or can I not? As opposed to buying it and hoping for the best. I hate that. I hate that feeling.
I mean, part of what I do at work is logistics related. There's no the best when it comes to logistics right now. No the best. It doesn't happen anymore. It used to happen 3 years ago, 4 years ago. Now it's like everybody's undercharging to stay competitive. Like that's what I think a lot of people don't realize is that logistics, meaning like whether you're UPS, Canada Post, U.S. Postal Service, FedEx, everybody's undercharging just to get people's business. And so when they ding you with those fees, it's like they're kind of just like, oh, thankfully we got a little bit of that money back. But it is ultra competitive right now to ship and stuff like that. Now Facebook user says Facebook user, so I don't know who this is. Now I'm scared because Jay is commenting as Jay, so I thought it was the whole time. It's not. Facebook user, StreamYard.com/Facebook. Go there. It'll give you a little button. Just click the button, and then I'll know who it is. You just have to allow your avatar and your name to be shown. But he says, now I'm scared about getting hit with extra fees for entire Necronominus Wave and Furies 4. I've got bad news for you. You are going to get hit by extra fees. And they're not gentle. Tyler says $1.35, but my bank charges an extra 3 cents on it, so I have to calculate it at $1.38, and that's assuming you're not using a credit card, which also charges often like 1 or 2% flat on any purchase that's an international exchange. It adds up. It adds up really fast. Hot Pink Krampus says Brick. I'd be down. I would buy that. Pink Panther. It's Pink Panther. I would get that
Oh God,
because they could do an alternate head. They could an alternate Jaguarian head. I
that's
would be
true.
down for that. I would buy
I
that
would buy that.
day one. Jay Wright, who I thought Facebook user was Jay Wright until he started commenting as Jay Wright. Sasquatch, Sasquatch, Sasquatch. I'm right there with you. I'm not as big a Sasquatch guy as you are. Not to say you're a Sasquatch, Jay. I know you're not, but you're not far off. Brute scale, I agree. I
That'd
think,
be cool.
yeah, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it?
Be very cool.
Retailer version will be Yeti. I would love that.
Or Wendigo.
Yeah, yeah.
That'd be cool.
Abominable snowman. I mean, that's gotta be coming, right? Like because I mean, Jay's making a very valid point there. You could even do it. You could even do it, ogre scale, I think, and
Well,
people will be
and
down.
so far they've only done holiday related stuff, right? So, but like,
Yeah,
there's so much more they can do. Like Sasquatch isn't related to holiday, but it's definitely folklore.
and you can get reuse if you do those
Oh,
like
tons.
the full furry torso and arms and all that kind of stuff. You could do tons of stuff with
Mhm.
that. And you wouldn't just have to limit it to Sasquatch, Yeti, Abominable Snowman, whatever you kind of want to call it, whatever iteration. You could do multiples though. You could do the Four Horsemen exclusive plus the retailer version. I really like where Jay's going with this. I totally agree. I think brute scale is the way to go, just based on the facts of what a Sasquatch is. Jay, I will. They're facts. This is not hypothetical. It's not alleged. There's just not enough proof yet. Um, Kelly says, I sure goofed buying direct, huh, Austin?
Oh, quick story.
Austin, I told you. Didn't you tell them?
They Well, we didn't know for sure, and he didn't
Kelly,
tell
that's on
anyone he was
Austin.
going to do it.
That's on Austin because I told him on Friday.
Let me tell you what he did, though.
Hey, that's a private conversation between you guys. I'm not.
Oh
I
no no
saw when
no no!
Kelly mentioned that he ordered, and I was like, "Oh, Kelly,
So
Kelly ordered Savage Crucible too."
he went with
I'm just saying.
USPS because there is a USPS option, but he did not pay attention to the price. The USPS option is $96 American.
To ship.
Yep.
It's bananas.
He just went USPS. Okay, cool. I went with that. I went to checkout. He didn't look at the price. I'm shaming him.
Brick says, "All right, got to get some work done. Boo to working on a Sunday. I'll check out the replay, guys. Great to see you both. Absolutely, Brick. Absolutely. Thank you for being here, for hanging out for as long as you did. Are you grading? Is that what you're doing, Brick? Can't you just give them all? Can't you just average it out? Give them all like a B minus or something? Nope. They won't know. It's not like they're gonna come back and be like, "Yo, why did I get this grade?" The ones that are idiots will be happy to get a B minus. The ones that are geniuses will be like happy that it's not worse. Impossible Pie. If I ship from BB to BBS, BBTS, and it's under $100 US, I usually don't get charged duty.
Same.
Usually, the problem with that is you're not maximizing the shipping rates. That's where it's a pain in the butt. I know that it works that way, and you got to kind of like balance it. And like, okay, well, if I get, because I've gotten a couple SH figure arts from them, and I've gotten a couple random things here and there over the years, and it's like, okay, if I get one figure, but like the whole point of a pile of loot is that like you get 8 things in one box and pay $10 shipping US, and hope that the fees aren't terrible.
Yeah, like I literally just 2 seconds ago, because I just remember just paid for my pile of loot to ship because I keep forgetting to do it, and I just paid 62 American, which is the most I've ever had to pay with them. But it's because I got like Mezco Death Dealer and Theodore Sod Cutter, so they're in big tin lunch kit box things.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, what happens if I just ship one? $45. Oh, I'll just ship all of them. Whatever.
Damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah, so like I'm going to get hit with duty fee. I'm prepared for the heaviest duty
paying
fee.
you're paying somewhere, and whether it's on the front end with the shipping or on the back end with fees, sometimes you can pick your who ships it, and if you can, like, the thing is, if you're in Canada, the trick is you get U.S. Postal Service to ship it, or whatever national. SH Figure Arts, or some like import stuff too. Like I found, and I think I mentioned this to you. Global Freaks, which is a Spanish store,
Right. Yeah.
ships with their like national mail service. So the Spanish national mail service has an agreement with Canada Post. So you get, I think it's like $10 or $12 for your fees, but it's nowhere near the 80 to 120 bucks that like FedEx will hit you with. So anyway, Tyler said, I've never ordered from Four Horsemen before, so it might be who they use to ship, but I'm not sure. It's part of that. Like, they charge you full shipping. A lot of, again, what people don't realize, like eCollectibles isn't charging you. If you get $125, you get free shipping. It's not like he gets free shipping. It's not like he's like, hey, I got this bigger box, UPS, so now I'm not paying.
Yeah.
It gets factored into like his costs and stuff like that. And Big Bad Toy Store does the same thing. They're basically subsidizing your shipping with the margin on the figures themselves, the toys themselves. Four Horsemen does not subsidize your shipping at all. You are paying the actual shipping costs. Jay says we are landlocked. Yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough. My buddy's Customs has joined. Happy to have you, my friend. My buddy's Customs says, love the ghost.
Woo! Favorite band.
Really? Is it? I only got, okay. So Kyle from Super 7, who is often on Toying Around's channel. He always has. He had a ghost Christmas sweater, I think, at one point.
Oh, cool.
And Super 7 did that ghost figure, which is a great figure, but I didn't know anything about the band. I listened to it recently, and I was like,
I think I got it right here.
I don't understand this band at all. It's great though. I love the music, but it's if you don't know Ghost, check it out, but also kind of read the bio, because it's like
they're wild.
The bio and the music don't line up.
Nope.
But the music is fantastic.
I love it. It's my favorite.
Facebook user StreamYard.com/ please, because it's weird. I don't know who I'm talking to, and I apologize. It could be anybody. It could be somebody that I talk to all the time. I just don't know. I just moved to Canada last December and left most of my legions from the country of origin, and I'm still looking for a good seller here. And I think eCollectibles is the closest thing I have for now. I know the price still stings, but I think with your explanations, it makes sense. I can assure you,
100% it does.
I can assure you that every one of us in Canada has gone, maybe if I just maybe I'll make it through this time and make it. Everybody's ordered direct from Four Horsemen at least once. We all know better. I don't think there's anybody that's like, no, it's the way to go. Which is a shame. I wish they could figure something out. I honestly do. And the weird thing is, I've talked to Mike at eCollectibles, and like with some of the exclusives and stuff like that, he agrees. Like, it would be great if Canadians and people sort of all over the world weren't kind of like, man, isn't there just some better way?
Well, the thing I don't understand is why they stopped offering, I think it was a USPS first class, which was just like the cheapest USPS option that had tracking. And it wasn't cheap. It was like probably like $30 American. But if you did get hit of, if you did get hit of a fee, it was just the duty fee. There's no brokerage or anything. But
Jay says we all learn the hard way.
Oh yeah.
We're Canadians, we're stubborn. I think that's part of our nature. We're very apologetic, and we're very kind and accommodating, but we don't listen. We all did. We've all done it. I don't know a single Mythic Legions collector who hasn't ordered directly once, thinking, no, you guys are full of shit. You don't know what you're talking about. Kelly says it's 1,000,000% my fault. $200 shipping. Master Versal Toy Hunter, who is of course in Eternia, says, here we get a foreign currency charge on credit card payments, our country's import tax on top of the online places shipping. Indeed, shipping is making it hard to jump on the buy every now and then. Absolutely. And that's the thing, is like, if you have a retailer, if you have a buddy, like even even if you don't have a retailer, I think it kind of works itself out if you can order enough of them that you can kind of cross over a threshold where like the cost per unit makes a little more sense. And like I was saying, if you're ordering, 4 unknown ones and like 10 of the standard figures, it might be cheaper to go through Four Horsemen. Most of the people that I know aren't doing that, so
Mhm.
it isn't cost effective.
I know, yeah,
Um,
there's definitely workarounds. I can't remember his name, but someone used, I want to say it was like Shipsy or something, and they have like a pickup spot near their house, or that's like 20 minutes away. So
if
that
yeah,
makes sense.
drive across the border, yes, but I mean
Yeah.
for those cross border pickups, like I'm just too far away to kind of
Mhm.
make it worthwhile because then you factor in gas,
Yeah. Well, I mean, in this case with this
which
guy,
as we know they're basically giving away, but still it's
but the way it was explained to me by this one guy is he gets his ship to a place in the States,
yeah.
and that place in the States has a warehouse in Toronto where he lives. So
Oh,
they
so
just
yeah, cross
drop
border,
off point or whatever. So
yeah,
I'm like, if you can do that, that makes sense. But based on where you live and based where I live,
yeah.
and I live on a freaking island,
It doesn't work.
it doesn't work.
Yeah. Master Versal says, indeed, yes, at Big Bad Toy Store, there they double. You write it the way you speak, and it confuses me. I try to read it first and get the gist of it. I appreciate it though. Big Bad Toy Store, they double lump the shipping for every item, and you add to the shipment. They have no set shipping, like say Mattel. Yes, you're absolutely right. So yeah, your shipping goes up. There's no flat rate, I think is what he's getting at. Absolutely. Alberto Morales says, "Oh, I'm so gonna get destroyed since I ordered." Oh, your Facebook user. Since I ordered the entire Necronominus wave in waves on top of that. Oh, so you ordered like piece by piece. So you've got like 2 figures coming 4 times or something. Oh my goodness. I feel terrible for you, but now you know. I
Now you
mean,
know.
I'm glad you
Put
came to the session of
He
shopping
will
in
get it
Canada.
before any of us.
That is true. That is true, and he can rub that in our noses.
That's true.
Uh, Cato has joined us. What's going on, Cato? Glad to have you. Master Versal says yes to send a small box, just get a bit bigger than those puzzle boxes you have there to the US. It was going to cost me 79 New Zealand dollars to have tracking on it. The cheapest was 33 New Zealand dollars with no tracking. I there's there's virtually no circumstances where I won't get tracking anymore because it's just not worth not knowing that
I've done
something's
it.
lost. You know what I mean? Like the peace of mind, like if everything gets delivered, you don't care. It's when a package gets lost that you go, yeah, okay, this sucks.
Yeah.
Alberto says Vaseline and lots. Man, you're gonna have to hit Costco for the amount that you're. Um, no flaming hot pumpkin heads, but I did make my first Mythic Legions purchase today.
Ooh, what did you get?
I mean, I think it's safe to assume what he got, right? He probably got the stuff that's in stock at Four Horsemen. He's in the
Oh,
States.
good
I know
point.
that.
Oh, okay. If he's in the States, yes, that makes sense.
Uh, we haven't even brought up the pictures. What am I thinking here?
We're so we went on this tangent about shipping and all that, like we always do.
Always do. What am I looking at here? What am I looking at? This is the one. Okay, so we'll start with this. This is, of course, that's
So
funny. I was
good.
like, oh, it's already on there. Oh, it's a picture-in-picture thing. So this is the retailer appreciation wave deco for the headless horseman. This is for me a better deco
It
than the
is.
one that we already got. This is
I'm
more a Halloween deco to me than the other one.
I'm definitely like the best way I could put it is I definitely don't need the one that I currently have. But I traded for it, so it's not like I'm super frustrated or anything. If I paid top dollar, I would be upset right now. But the way I
Right.
look at it
Yeah.
is, I'm going to get both. Like I'm going to get this one too. It's just incredible to look at. And the other one, I kind of look at it and go, besides the obvious pumpkin head and the fact he has no head, if I can put a different head on him, and it's not the headless horseman anymore, and
Mhm.
so I could have that one as, I don't know, something else, and then this one is the headless horseman. There's just I have options, so I'm not at all frustrated about getting another one with this redeco, especially when the redeco is that good. I'm so glad they went, you know what, screw it, vibrant colors, purple, orange, green.
It looks
That's
good, right?
it's
Like,
fun,
and
and
then
he's
on top of that,
and they still have black on there too, but looks good too. It's just, oh, it's so good.
I only blew this up because I'm very curious because they haven't really said, and it's one picture, and the way that it's kind of lit, I'm not 100% certain. I'm not sure if this is like if the chest piece and the skirt and the gloves and the I think the boots are like a navy blue or an indigo.
I think they're indigo, but who knows with lighting? It's hard to tell. Not in
It
hand.
looks like the more I look at it, the more I love it. And I don't need this character. Like I don't need the headless horseman. And when it was black and red, I was like, easy pass. I don't need a flaming pumpkin, whatever. It's black and red on top of everything. I don't. That's we all know how I feel about black and red deco. But the purple with the like navy or indigo, the orange and the cape, and like I said, the thing that again, we talk about burying the lead of it being a wave. I think a lot of people overlook the fact that the green, all the green, so the hoofs, I think the eyes and the mouth and the flames and the eyes
Oh, it's
are
glow.
glow in the dark.
Yeah, that's right.
This is an upgrade over the exclusive version. And forgive me if you have the exclusive version and you love it, that's great. This is better.
I love it. Like that's again, it's definitely one of those ones. So I'm like, I'm going to get this one too. It's I don't want to pick and choose. It's just I'm
Mhm.
like I got the original. I'm going to get this one too.
If anybody in the Knights of the North uh, wants the horse but not the horseman, message me because I don't really care about this horse. I have a lot of horses, and this
Really?
one I don't. Yeah, I mean I'll be honest. The figure itself, I'm going to use as fodder,
No.
and the horse. And because I said I don't need the character, I don't the horse, even with the glow in the dark and stuff. I'm not. I think it's cool. I think it's really really cool that
I'm
they. I could see like Hagnon riding this horse. So
I think
Hagnon, glow in the dark ghosts riding.
Alberto was saying use it as a mount for scaphoid.
That's a good call. The color match will be probably pretty close, and it'll be sort of far enough away.
Oh, that's really clever of the vampire heads. That's really clever.
Yeah, I'll use this mount for Scaphoid and use the headless body for that screaming vampire head from the All Stars 5 wave. Yeah, he's on to something.
That's good.
He's on to something.
I'm a huge fan of the Headless Horseman. Like, I mean, I don't know. Like, it's based off Irish folklore, the Doulahan.
Mm-hmm.
I love that stuff. It was actually just like a week ago. I listened to a whole podcast about the Doulahans. So
Mm-hmm.
I was like, just seeing this get announced too was just like, oh, what timing? Um, but I love it. It is.
I think the like the green flames with the skull lends a more like spectral,
Yeah.
like ghostly, air to it. Like it feels more like the headless horseman that I would want if I wanted a headless horseman, which sounds weird, but
Well, I mean, the green flames. I don't know. It has a more magical feel to it. To me,
yeah,
like yeah,
yeah,
over regular flames.
yeah.
Um, and it's funny every year. World of Warcraft online game, they have their Halloween event, and Yeah, ectoplasm, and the headless horseman that they have as a boss in the game, green flames. So that was the first thing I thought of. When oh yeah, like Warcraft, cool.
Yeah. Payne says he's going to be getting it, and he also says he needs an Ichabod crane now. Yeah,
Now
that's
it would be awesome if that was a figure that gets revealed in the supposed wave, an
well.
Ichabod crane.
I was even thinking you could probably repurpose one of those like Hasbro Dungeons and Dragons cartoony figures. You know that they've done that nobody
I was
likes.
thinking, oh, what's his name? Jason Wingard from that Wolverine 5-pack, or any of the like
Mhm.
Sebastian Shaw Hellfire guys.
Mhm.
That would be really cool since they got the appropriate attire.
Yeah. Let me pull up the next picture and
Adam.
in StreamYard. I used to be able to keep. I gotta email them. StreamYard used to give me the ability to just choose a different tab. I don't know why it disappeared all of a sudden. Now I have to close a tab and then reopen another one. The second thing they've revealed is this redeco of Father Christmas in the green robe with the blue underneath. I think everybody that I talked to about the Father Christmas figure in the red and purple, this was kind of the colorway that we more or less expected for a retail version. I definitely didn't expect it this soon.
I will say
Um,
I was predicting Ghost of Christmas Present, and I'm like
mm,
that's what they went for, like green
mhm,
robes and all that. Ghost of Christmas
mhm.
Present. I do think it's really cool. They still kept one of the heads with a white beard.
Yes, you're absolutely right. I agree. I think that like if and this is a conversation that I had with people too about a potential retail version was, if they do a redeco, do we get, do we get a repaint of the beard? Is it a full repaint? And I like that they cleverly did one of the heads a repaint and one of the heads more or less the same. It might be slightly different, but it looks to be identical.
Mhm.
They even repainted the helmets. Spoiler alert! I apologize. That's what was in the Christmas bag. But he also has two belts. So this again, there's a slight change. There's a slight upgrade. So this is the belt that came on the exclusive one. Again, details that they haven't necessarily mentioned. This is a CJ Jessam designed like functional belt on the new version. They've also done a repaint of all the accessories, so you now have sort of twice as many toys, so you can really kind of load out your. And Brick's gone, but he's gonna watch this in replay. This is me selling you on this figure. There's repaint on everything, so you're not buying another one of what you already have. You're
Mhm.
buying all new stuff. We also get the tree with some snow on it. The original came just snowless. Um, so yeah, I mean, I think this is a great offering. I think for me personally, I don't need another Father Christmas, but I love the soft goods. I love the idea of these soft goods for. So Father Christmas is already in Zylona's flock in my headcanon. This adds another sort of winter robe to my fodder bin for an elf that lives in I guess wherever Father Christmas lives. Elf in the mythos sense, I thought more than the Christmas sense, but now that I realize, yeah, okay, it's right there. This is great. I love this.
Yeah, to me, and I think you can kind of get away with it more. You can put it on your shelf and say it's not Santa. This
Yeah,
could be like
yeah,
for me, like I'd get rid of like the trumpet, the drum, and the accessories for display purposes, but keep his staff,
yes,
and be like it's woodland shaman
yeah. He's
type
some
of
sort
look.
of northern mage.
Yeah,
Yeah. Jay says I honestly don't like this version. That's
you're
fine,
wrong,
Jay.
Jay. You're wrong.
You don't have to like everything. Oz says I want this Father Christmas and we'll be swapping some parts with mine. Yep. Master Versal says the belt on my Father Christmas tends to pop off at the back. Sadly, I think it needed to be a little bit longer in the strap. Yeah, I think that was kind of a minor complaint about the exclusive version, but like I said, this one sort of corrects that problem or sort of error, or sort of however you want to sort of talk about it.
One thing
Um,
Jeremy Gerard said, but I was kind of made me raise an eyebrow, was when Gerard posted on Facebook, he pointed out the helmets. But he says they're recolors, and they match the colors of figures that haven't been either released or even maybe not even shown yet.
yeah,
So, because I right out the gate, I kind of look at them and go, okay, black helmet can go on my Black Knight, gold helmet could go on Magnus.
yeah. I think he said something along the lines of like these are repainted to go along with figures that are going to be available, and it will like make sense,
Yeah.
when they're revealed. And I was like, you son of a the teases, man, the teases. But we don't have to wait that long, right? March 1st is the pre-order date for this wave.
Mhm.
One last thing, one last picture before we speculate what we might see in the wave. And I'm doing this as fast as I can, but like I said, StreamYard foiled me doing this quickly. Jeremy also revealed this picture, which is the sort of disrobed, derobed figure. So with the Father Christmas, we got black and dark brown. This one I'm really excited about. Austin, can you guess why?
Oh, because that's an elf body right out the gate, and not just like elf body, but I mean elf colors.
This is as close as I'm going to get at a retail price of an elf ranger. I'm going to repurpose this to just very quickly kind of paint and have a poor man's elf ranger, which is sort of the last of my sort of favorite legions that I don't have. And at this point, I'm not feeling terribly. I don't want to pay the price that an elf ranger is currently going for. I'm really hoping that All Stars 6 gives me the opportunity, but I'm not banking on that. So I'll have to figure it out some way. But when I saw this, I was like, okay, the matte green on the chest and torso, and the matte green on the loincloth piece, plus those kind of chocolate boots. I'm a good portion of the way there, and I'm
Mhm.
very, very happy about that, because I could swap any 2.0 body sort of under the robe, and be quite happy with what's under the robe and still have this figure, right? I can use the what's coming under the robe as fodder, and I'm very, very excited about that. Um, but yeah, that's two figures that have been revealed, but they've said it's a wave. A wave to me is more than two figures, and I don't know how many more. You know what I mean? Like I don't
Mhm.
know. Is it going to be three figures, or is it going to be like a dozen? I don't. I like. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, Jay mentioned it earlier, but there's, I think, what was it going to be, a convention exclusive recolor? Well, not a recolor. Use the same head as Belphegor.
Yeah,
I'm thinking maybe they'll just go ahead and do a recolor of that for retailer
I could
appreciation.
see that. I could see that. Yeah.
On a side note,
Although I think with that one specifically, with that one, and not to kind of throw a wrench into things, but I think when they revealed the PowerCon version, they revealed the figure and said, "This is a figure that we're doing. The PowerCon one will come with a couple more parts, but this will be offered later,
mm,
like through Four Horsemen or whatever."
yeah. On a side note, I didn't do much reading. I just thought it looked cool, but it really reminded me of Skeletor from the Dolph Lundgren movie.
Yes. Or Skelegod, right? When he
Or
gets sort
Skeletor,
of
yeah.
let me see if I can find a picture of that one. Carry
But
on.
for like what else they could do, I mean, I don't know. It depends what they're thinking. It's like if they're thinking more figure obscura of, and I'm clueless. It's like they would either have to do just recolors again of figures we already got, or new stuff that we haven't seen, which is that prospect is exciting. Or if they're not doing strictly figure obscura, I mean, I would absolutely love it if they backpedaled on their whole not reissuing of tributes, like,
Oh, that okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and even just a loophole. I don't know. Like, let's just take two of the big ones, like ones that I traded to Mike, Adamon and Keltis.
Hmm.
If they did those ones, and even just as recolors, still have them look like Adamon and Keltis, but change some things up, and they could be like, oh well, we didn't reissue the originals, so here are some new
Right.
versions.
Yeah.
But that's wishful thinking. I think I'm making a big leap there, but I mean, I don't know. Well, spitting out ideas.
Well, who knows? I mean, that's the thing is that like I don't think anybody expected these two redecos this quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but then the other thing that sort of crept into my head was that like with All Stars 5 Plus, like All Stars 4 was 6 figures plus a troll. All Stars 5 Plus was 3 All Star figures, 6 new figures. We got All Stars trolls separately, 2 trolls.
Yeah.
So they've kind of like, I mean, all that to just say that like they've kind of thrown some of the rules out
Yeah.
recently, and they're kind of just doing what they want in a weird way. Like like if they've got something new, um, whether it's a redeco or a re-release or like just something that we just didn't expect, right? I think we keep thinking that they're going to do what we expect,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that that's where we're going wrong. Because the other thing that I will mention about this particular figure that's on the screen is that this is a PowerCon exclusive figure. This isn't what they've traditionally done, which is a tribute figure.
Yeah.
So they've kind of said like, well, we're also doing tribute figures. So like they're not, this isn't one of the, like normally they do 2 tribute figures at PowerCon, right? They haven't said this is one of the 2 figures. They've kind of said this is totally different. This is completely removed from that, which makes me think they're still going to do 2 PowerCon tribute figures.
I think so too.
So I mean, where does that leave us? I don't know. That's sort of like my long-winded way of saying like I don't think we have any idea what to expect, and I'm really excited for it because I think it's I think there's so many things that they could do. This thing looks awesome though.
I love it. Like,
and this is so I was looking at the All Stars wave that has that skeleton with patinaed armor. I don't think I need that one anymore. I think I need this one now because this is a full patinaed armor.
Yeah.
Whereas I was looking at that to like remove the skeleton parts and like put some other sort of limbs in there. This is like apart from the head, which doesn't do anything for me because the skeletons and demons and stuff it's just not my thing. And then even the neck piece I'm not a huge fan of. But who knows? Depending on what head I could sort of get in there, might change my mind. But the figure from like the neck down, I absolutely love the kind of patinaed armor, the wired cape. The straps across aren't the standard straps; those are part of the cape.
Oh yes, I remember them saying that.
Those are so that's CJ Jessen soft goods. It looks like they've kind of colored the the design. They put a wash on it, so it looks like it's kind of glowing green in the sword there. You even get the patinaed flail. Like, man, they had whatever. Let's not even bother.
There's been a lot of exclusives where I go, oh, I like that. If I can get it, I will. The unknown one, the Furious 4, There's been tons. Even the Headless Horseman, when it was
Yeah,
exclusive to their website, it was like, oh,
yeah,
that's really cool. I'll get it if I can, but
yeah.
I'm not like desperate. If I do, I do. I don't, I don't. I look at this one and go, I need this. This is
I'm already trying to get people to
yeah,
sort of agree to buy this for me because I'm not going to be at PowerCon.
yeah.
Um, and between this and the Animal Warriors of the Kingdom exclusive that's going to be at PowerCon, I mean, I'm looking at flights to Ohio,
Where
but
where is? Oh, okay, I was about to say it's in, okay. It's in
it's in Ohio.
Ohio. Okay, I'm sorry. I don't think I know anyone from Ohio. Damn.
No, neither do I. But I'm hoping that I know somebody that's close enough that's maybe going to PowerCon that can help me out. So I'm already sort of petitioning anybody and everybody. Now here's the other thing: if these are PowerCon exclusives, you can basically pre-order them and then you just pick them up at the show, which makes it, I hope, easier for people to maybe pick them up for me. But we'll see.
If
But
they're
yeah,
going to do a non-exclusive version, I wonder, like, did they say what makes this version exclusive? What's the exclusive unique part?
so on the picture that we see here, my
Yeah.
understanding is that this is like they haven't been very clear, but my
Okay.
understanding is that like this is essentially the standard figure, and that the
Oh.
exclusive will come with more.
Okay. Which
So
case,
I'm
I could live with the standard. If this is the standard, I'm happy.
Yep, absolutely. And I kind of think like, with the unknown one, you got the skeleton head and the skeleton neck. With the Furious Four, you got that fifth head, the cat head, as well as the tail.
Yeah.
And I think for most people, not everybody, I do know of at least one person that wants the unknown one, like exclusive one, to get that skeleton head. Um, but here I'm looking at this, and like I said, because I'm looking at the armor as the thing that I want in the cape, a standard figure would be fine.
Yeah.
That being said, like as far as exclusive parts that might come with it, I'm thinking maybe another weapon or two, and then maybe an alternate head. That tends to be the way that they go,
Yeah.
is alternate head. So I'm thinking either a helmeted head or something out of left field, like a uniquely painted orc head, which is not out of left field because they've done that a bunch of times. That's like the least out of left field thing that the Four Horsemen could do. So maybe there's something more that I'm not even thinking of. He's a horned demon. Maybe there's like a demonic human head repaint. I don't think we've seen a lot of that, right? Like where,
Yeah.
we see the skulls, but there's already a skull on this guy. So maybe we see a fleshed out version of this head.
Honestly, I think it'd be just cool if they did a bucket helmet, just a regular bucket helmet we've seen so many times
Easy,
with the
easy.
patina.
Yeah, yeah, I could see that, and it'd be super easy. So, let's quickly check in with the comments here. Alberto says, "I think that helmets can go in some of the knights from the Necronominus wave." That's a good point. Like Gideon could get a gold helmet.
Yep.
And then the black one. I mean, there's lots of black characters, like black armored characters. So
Yeah, I look at my Black Knight or even the Furious Four.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. He says a new Sir Gerard. You could see that too, a repaint, because we got the exclusive, and then we got sort of the Four Horsemen released one on the site, but they didn't do a repaint, so there could be a retailer exclusive repaint.
And with Sir Gerard's lore of him being like a changeling, they could do tons of stuff.
I know. Master Versal says a certain mount for Father Christmas. Yeah, there could be like an elk or a deer or reindeer.
A repainted alder.
Alder, yeah, you could just do a white moose, and I think people would be down for that. Mike Hex says, sup. Jay Wright says, I love that noggin.
Yeah, the Belphegor head is, I think, one of their best ones.
Mm.
You might disagree.
It's just, I mean, it's just not for me. It's just, the ones that are one-off, they have to be really good. And this one's like almost there. Like the Belphegor one was just kind of too much red and then black, so I was just it didn't do much for me. This head sculpt is fantastic. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I don't like the head sculpt. It's the same with the demons. I love that head sculpt and the design with the sort of paintwork. It just wasn't something that I needed on my shelf, and that's how I feel about the head. Now the figure looks fantastic, and I want the figure. Master Versa says, "I feel we might not see the Moose figure again." That's a good point too. I mean, he's kind of unique, and you kind of muddy the waters sometimes if you release more uses of certain molds. Um, Alberto says, "Since I don't own Belphegor, this will take his place." Sure. Mick says, "I like this head sculpt better than it was on Belphegor." Yes, so this deco, I agree with that 100%. I think this deco, this sort of bone deco, looks better than the red one. But yeah, that's sort of where we're at for Mythic Legions. That's a lot of good stuff.
Tons of good stuff.
What else were we going to talk about? Oh, Animal Warriors of the Kingdom. Animal Warriors of the Kingdom, if you didn't know, is starting to ship. Austin, have you got your order in yet? All right, well, you'll have to get on that soon.
It's funny that you say that, because I mean, I backed Savage Crucibles.
Fair enough. Everybody's got different preferences. There's different, I don't. So this is a funny conversation that comes up at my work all the time, where like, if you work in retail, you always want to get more sales, right? You always want to convert more customers and so on and so forth. My thinking is always I work in bicycle sales, and the store that I work at, I always sort of say to people, we are not going to sell every bicycle that people buy in Kelowna, but that doesn't mean that they won't come to us for service or accessories or so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
Feel the same way about toy lines, right? I love Animal Warriors of the Kingdom, and everybody else should, but I understand that at the end of the day, not everybody likes the same things. It doesn't land for everybody in the same way. Not everybody, is completely enamored with Disney's Robin Hood, with the anthropomorphized animals. Not everybody's read the Redwall novels. Not everybody, watched the stop motion claymation Wind in the Willows and was like blown away. Like for me, it's like the culmination of all these things, right? Like it's not everybody even saw Thundercats, right? Like it's the Motu guys might go towards Savage Crucible. The Thundercat guys might go towards AWOC, right? Like I get it. There's different things. That being said, Dan Larson from Toy Galaxy or Secret Galaxy, I think on his other channel, did a review of them, and he great review. Everybody that has them in hand is just giving them absolutely fantastic reviews. I would strongly recommend, if you are a toy collector, to just go out and get at least one of them just to sort of see what all the hype is about. Because I also think that people are going to be kicking themselves in a couple months when these are sold out everywhere and you can't get them anymore.
Like, I definitely plan on getting at least one or two, because again, I still think there would be really good figures to take out in the backyard for photography.
Yeah.
Like, I think that alone is going to be awesome, but it's like I really got to unload a whole line of something, like, because I look at Savage Crucible alone, I go, sure, it's a ways away. I got to figure out room before that, because.
But you have the luxury of a few months before you're.
That's true. Yeah.
Anyway, Wave 1 is shipping. Wave 2 will be shipping soon, and then sort of beyond that, they've got lots of plans. There's lots of good stuff coming. We won't go too deep into that because we're already at an hour and 45. Jay says that moose will be an elk. Mark my words.
And that'd be easy for them to do. I think they just get different antlers, right? I imagine they're removable. I don't have elder. I'm actually should have them.
You need a different head sculpt, I think.
Oh yeah, fair enough.
But that's totally easy enough. I mean, Phobos is a different head sculpt from Balius, is a different head sculpt from Aethon, is a different head sculpt from Phlegus. What they've all been different for the horses.
Yeah.
So I don't really foresee that as being an issue because it's one piece, right? You're just rejigging one piece. And then, like you said, the antlers as well. I'm a pretty big fan of the moose. I don't have an issue with the moose at all myself. Alberto says, AWOC is great, but Savage Crucible won me over. I need my fantasy to be gritty and raw. Fair enough. And I need my fantasy to be anthropomorphized animals and playful and comic booky. So it works for me. But that's a perfect example. Sort of everybody's a little bit different. Now, as far as Falcon goes, we'll kind of touch on this just because to me, this is like comical. Like, this is a little bit funny at this point.
I look forward to seeing it. I haven't seen it yet.
Well, you saw you saw what they kind of revealed, right?
Yeah, like I saw like the pre-order pictures and all that.
Right. It looks exactly how we expected. Is the
way.
problem? I'm just trying to get an image here that I can bring up so that we can talk about it, which I'm not doing a very good job of. And I'm going to bring this up, and then I want you to give your impressions of it while I step out for a very brief moment, and I'll be right back. I shall return. I'll be right back. Austin, impressions. Wait, hold on.
Maybe zoom in on it if you can.
There's that derpy head. What are your... Go!
I honestly don't like. I'm not going to sit here and say, "Oh, this is a phenomenal head sculpt," but I don't think it looks too bad. Like, it's definitely a little plain Jane. I mean, yeah, some stubble might help, but I don't know. If people think this looks awful, I don't think it looks awful. I don't think it's anywhere close to great. Like, Duke's head is definitely better, and just about any other character I can think of might have a better head sculpt, but I don't know. I don't think it's awful. I'm really interested in seeing some pictures that people have posted. I was just saying it actually doesn't look as bad as I thought it would. I don't like, unless there's like some in-hand pictures to make it look horrible. Like, I don't think it looks great. I just don't think it's horrible.
So this is, I mean, Alberto sort of hit it on the head. And I heard what you said, and I agree. I don't think it's that bad. I think it's based on the standard of what we expect from classified figures. It's not probably, it's easily the worst head sculpt that they've done classified. It's a Team America World Police head sculpt. Jay goes a little bit further, says looks like Team America from Wish. It looks like a knockoff Team America head. I don't disagree. But the reality is this an objectively terrible looking toy, or is this bad because we've gotten the Outback head sculpt? You know what I mean?
So good.
Which is so good. I think, this is sort of this is me like throwing a wrench into like everybody's argument. What, you know that meme where like Skeletor says something and then runs away? I do this all the time. It's like, okay, but is Outback a 10 out of 10? And are we now comparing this to Outback, or are we comparing this to like 1980s G.I. Joes, which had there's no head sculpt. Like, it just, they put some paint on a generic head and away you go. And nobody was like, oh, this head sculpt on this 1987 whatever figure is terrible. They just knew that, like, who cares? It's a toy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm waiting to get one in hand. I'm really looking forward to getting it. Falcon is one of my favorite characters. it does. I mean, even the best pictures I've seen, like the worst ones look awful. The best ones, he still looks like this picture. I was hoping, like deep down inside, I knew it wasn't going to happen, but I still thought maybe there was a chance that Hasbro heard all the complaints about this and went, okay, can we tweak this in time to get it to people to look a little bit better? It doesn't. It doesn't. It just this is the worst head sculpt they've done in the classified line. But like I said, you can't have a 10 out of 10 for every figure.
No.
Because there's always going to be a spectrum, right? Like, and the rest of this figure looks great. I think a head swap or a little bit of paint, maybe. I don't know if it's paint or head swap. I also think, and this is maybe like a slightly overlooked thing, and maybe this is not a good way to look at it because it's kind of like, I know how people kind of feel about Hasbro recently, but I'm thinking, okay, we've got sublines, right? We've got Tiger Force, we've got Mad Marauders, we have the potential for Night Force, we have the potential for Sonic Fighters, we have the potential for some Arctic version of Falcon, retro version, right? They could do a Walmart exclusive retro carded Falcon, and they could improve the head. They could spend no money anywhere else and just give us another head. I think there's the chance that Falcon gets retribution in the future. I just think, like, future Falcon could be better. Falcon today, it's unfortunate, but it is what it is.
I've been trying to cut back on just about everything, so I didn't pre-order the whole new wave. I really picked and choose, and Falcon wasn't one of them. I have no attachment to the character. Again, I don't think the head sculpt is awful, but it hasn't won me over, so I'm still not going to get it.
Fair enough. Like I said, I think I'm really getting it. Like at this point, I'm kind of leaning into the head sculpt, like in a weird way. Like, I'm curious to see what it looks like on the shelf with the other figures too, because I wonder if there's an element of like, we expect like realistic head sculpts, but like when I actually looked at my shelf and was like, is that a real thing? The classified figures don't really look that realistic.
Well, I was just thinking, like, when you put, like, don't put him beside Outback because he'll just look worse.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking, like, wow, maybe Hasbro really shot themselves in the foot by providing a head sculpt like Outback's, which is phenomenal. And like you were saying, I guess like that's people's standard now. So you look at this, and I go, again, pretend that Outback and some of the other head sculpts didn't exist. I think people would look at this and wouldn't bat an eye.
Yeah, that's and I kind of feel that way too. I think it's not the worst, head sculpt I've ever seen on a 6-inch action figure.
I've seen worse on Legends, like constantly.
Yeah. Jay says just head swap a Flint head on there, but I've already got a Flint head on Flint. So I'm probably going to pull something from Marvel Legends is what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Jay Wright says, looks like it did a HasLab head scan of a dog's shaved backside.
Yeah, maybe not quite.
Impossible Pie says, I saw a review of Outback where they screwed up the printing of the eyes. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. You can print it wrong. And maybe the printing's been bad for the first batch. Maybe the printing will.
And even then, that's the printing, right? Theoretically, the sculpt is still fantastic.
Yeah, Alberto says, okay, it'll make for great fodder. Now leave him alone. That's kind of how I feel. Like if I can't find a better head sculpt that'll work, so be it. He'll be derpy on the shelf. But I think it's a great looking figure. We zoomed into the head just so we could see the head. But I genuinely think that like the figure looks cool. Like
if we're talking heads, like if we're talking about like the figure looks great, the rest of it's fine, and let's say maybe you're not attached to like Falcon, so like you could put any head on there.
Yes.
The first, because I since I mentioned it earlier, it's on my mind, but the Wolverine 5-pack Jason Wingard comes
Hmm.
with an extra head with like big mutton chops.
Hmm.
Uh, if that would fit on there, or you can make it fit on there,
Yeah.
that look that would look really cool. Big, outback mutton chop guy.
You kind of make a point too about like if it'll fit, and that's been one of my complaints as somebody that does like kit bashes
Mhm.
and loves that Four Horsemen is so easy to kit bash.
Yeah,
My really like my only complaint about the classified line is that they don't use a standard ball peg
yeah,
for the head, because that's, in a weird way, this could all be fixed if you could just pop any Hasbro head that you wanted on there.
yeah,
And then people will go, well, I got a bunch, I gotta, because I'm probably gonna try to use a multiple man head
yeah, yeah.
because I have multiple man heads. Um, Surprise, surprise. If you have one multiple man, you probably have multiple mans. Anyway, um, I just think that like if I could pop that head on and it's the same ball peg, I don't even care. The fact is they're not standard, and so
Yeah.
I can't do it that easily. The other thing I'm thinking, like Breaker's head could go on there, but because Breaker has a helmet, so you could do an unhelmeted Breaker head. You could use I mean
I'm
there's
thinking
so many you
Hugh
could use.
Jackman Wolverine head.
Even the movie figure Snake Eyes, right?
Yeah,
If you like, that's a classified head that most people have if they're into the classified. Well, I shouldn't say that. A lot of people passed on those movie figures, but either that or the Storm Shadow head, the movie accurate Storm Shadow head, right? So there's options. I mean, I guess what I'm saying is I I I I'll give them a pass, and as long as we don't consistently see derpy heads, it's a one-off, and I'm not that fussed.
yeah. It's. I think I would be upset if it was one of the very like main characters that they somehow haven't already done.
This is, to me, though, one of the very main characters.
Really, I.
Yeah, I don't like between the movie and the figures. Falcon was always one of my guys. He was one of the team. Like Snake Eyes is the first, and
Yeah,
sort of Chuckles was already always in there as well. But Falcon was almost always in there too. So it's just for me, like maybe I should be more disappointed because he's like one of my. But I just, like I said, I mean it's now if they do 4 versions of Falcon and they all have this terrible head, then it's going to be an issue.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'll repurpose another head, or as other people have said, like pick another classified head and put it on there, and it'll be fine. Impossible Pie says, I don't think Marvel Legends has a standard ball peg for their heads. They
Probably not.
don't, and it's a pain in the butt. And it's not like it's not possible to do. I just don't know why they don't do it. Like Mythic Legions, it's the same. It's either a 1.0 ball peg or a 2.0. Animal Warriors of the Kingdom, it's all the same. You can just swap all the heads. They did head packs. I mean, anyway, that's my sad news of the week. But that's we're about 2 hours. Let's wrap it up. Anything else you want to talk about, Austin?
Nah, I think we pretty much covered it.
Uh,
And I guess besides, on still on the topic of this, obviously they're coming out. So like, I got mine pre-ordered through Mike. I went with barbecue because barbecue is it's my second favorite character. I would put
okay.
each head.
Yeah.
So I try to get one version of each. I don't try to do redecos if I
Yeah.
can avoid it, with some exceptions like Snake Eyes, where like all the versions are drastically different.
And they're
But
also good.
they're also good. But like I didn't get the new Outback, even though it's going to be phenomenal. I just can't. It's going to be the exact same figure that I have, so I won't worry about it. But barbecue's the exception. I know it's so good, but I also have no attachment to Outback the character, so it's a
Right. And he was in my squad as well.
yeah. But I will say, again, no attachment to the character. But once I saw the promo photos, I was like, "This is going to be amazing." Was CoverGirl? I cannot wait for CoverGirl.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that reminds me. I think that second 3-pack of the blue and yellow X-Men is coming out too.
Oh, probably. Yeah. So which that was Gambit, Psylocke, and
Banshee.
Banshee, right?
Marvel Legends' attempt at retribution for the much maligned Banshee that they did a few years ago. We'll see. We'll see.
We'll see.
Impossible Pie says, I think the problem is Falcon is supposed to be the young guy, and that head sculpt makes him look much older.
Is he supposed to be young?
So Falcon is supposed to be like the young, handsome, charming hotshot.
Oh,
he was voiced by I'm drawing a blank, but like the guy from Miami Vice. Like he was meant to be like hot shit, you know. He was meant to be like the playboy of the G.I. Joes.
Oh my lord! I mean, he still looks like it, but just he's in his 40s, which is nothing wrong with that. I guess just doesn't fit the character.
Yeah, exactly. Don Johnson. That's
go.
I couldn't think. Man, it's a good thing there's people in the chat, because as soon as you go live, you forget how to think. Yeah, that's all I got. We're at 2 hours, which is way over the hour that we.
I was gonna say you and I always go long.
I've done like 2 that were under an hour. But on that note, yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you, Austin. It's been very
likewise.
The chat's been great today. So I'm very, very thankful to the chat for that. Please like and subscribe. Hit that notification button if you are interested in seeing the more or less random nights that I do open late, which is live unboxing videos. And if you didn't like this video, hit the thumbs down. And feel free to leave a negative, angry comment, because it still helps the algorithm. It helps me out in the long run. So the joke's on you.
A view's a view.
Absolutely. Anyway, thank you guys. Until next time, we will. Okay, so next Sunday. Mm-hmm. Maybe later than normal. But stay tuned. Stay tuned for the announcement on that one. We will be doing a video next weekend. If all goes to plan, it will be later than normal. If everything doesn't work out, it'll probably just be at 2 p.m. again. So we'll see you guys all again very, very soon. Thanks for joining us. Bye-bye.
Adios.